You're listening to Prep Insider Radio with your hosts, Tommy Morris.
Good. This is nothing to do with State Creek baseball. I'm sorry, but have you seen a series of fortunate events?
Christian Pedersen.
I mean, I'm out here grinding. I'm putting in hours. I'm getting there at 5 a.m. to cheer on the water polo team at practice. I'm showing up to our basketball team. I'm showing up to our football games. We don't even have a football team, and I'm supporting that.
Noah Laxina.
And Noah Laxina's number 3 tip for Valentine's Day is...
chill, man. Things are going to be all right. All right? You don't want to force it. Let it happen. You're going to be all right.
And Bodie De Silva from Scorebook Live.
I mean, he brought basketball into that one. I got to give him 9 out of 10. I like that.
What's happening, everybody, and happy potentially return of football day. Christian Pedersen, Tommy Morris. We are joined by intern man Colton Toll, who has switched up to being a Padres jersey beanie wearing kind of dude now. He's gone through a lot of phases, starting with his mullet when he first joined us. Whose jersey are you wearing, Colton?
I got to go with the $300 million man.
Exactly.
Fernando Tatis.
$340 million man.
$40 million man.
Tommy Morris joins us wearing a University of Puget Sound sweatshirt. Tommy, is that a school that offered you when you were a legend in high school?
I know you were joking when you said that, but actually, yes.
No, I was not joking, though. That's how I know. That's how I...
That is true, yes. I've had this sweatshirt for like 10 years.
Nice. Very nice. Colton, you may not know there was originally planned to be a giant statue built on campus of Tommy just over the right field wall of the baseball stadium because of the heroic deeds of his 4 years as a Tory at La Jolla Country Day. Speaking of that, just over the fence of the right field wall, because... and I promise this has an end to it, because Country Day is a small school, they have small facilities. So right over the right field fence is the football field, and football is potentially back.
Oh, that's right. I played there.
So
that's why you're a pro.
We are recording this about 10 minutes following a press conference of Gavin Newsom being kind of just proven wrong, yelled at. I don't know. A lot to unpack about it because it was not entirely dedicated to sports. Guys, if you don't mind, I would like to play the soundbite of him. It's about a minute long, talking about answering the question directly related to the return of youth sports. We'll get this. This is once again, this is Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, just a couple minutes ago.
We worked for the last many weeks on looking at the data, looking at science, comparing and contrasting other rules and regulations all across the United States. We looked at the evidence. We counseled folks federally. We counseled folks at every local health jurisdiction. We worked collaboratively with those who are advocates, and we landed in the framework that we are announcing here today. We believe it's backed by science, evidence, backed by experience, practicality, but more important than anything else, we are confident that if we can resume, it will only help enliven the capacity of these kids to feel more engaged, feel more alive, to get the social back to social and emotional, the mental and physical health, and resume activities that are more positive in terms of their life's choices. And so as someone that's literally got into college because of sports and wasn't my SAT, I've never been shy about that. It's something personal to me as well with having 4 kids. And I know for a lot of parents, it's been a point of real stress, particularly in outdoor activities. And that's what we're accommodating for today.
Tommy, I understand that you could not hear that particularly well. That is the fault of the production setup that we have. Soundbites can only go one direction, and that direction was not the Zoom conversation. Basically, the minute-long conversation there, or the minute-long from Newsom there, comes up with almost nothing in terms of actual quantifiable data to tell you listeners, oh yeah, this will now happen, that will now happen, that will now happen. But a corresponding announcement was also released from the Department of Health. Colton, before we go any further though, I want you to hop on, because admittedly I do not know the answer to this, and this is the point of having an intern. Can you hop on the Google and find out what sport Gavin Newsom played in college? I would very much like to know, because he talks about that being a reason that he has his education, and he looks like he's tall. Tommy, you're muted.
Baseball Santa Clara. 2 years and threw his arm out. Never thrown a baseball since.
Baseball at Santa Clara. He Okay, well,
no, because right when he said that, right when he said that, I was like, really? And then I Wikipedia'd it right when we were listening to that sound clip. So I'm like a genius, but I actually cheated.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Santa Clara University, played baseball.
So we will put that on the poll.
Majored in political science.
We will put that on the poll. I would hope that he did something like political science and that he's not just like a burnt up reliever from Santa Clara that wound up being the governor of this state. We'll put that on the poll at SD Prep Insider. You can always follow along. Did you know that Governor Newsom played baseball at Santa Clara? Tommy, what's your takeaway from this announcement? What's your takeaway from it? It sounds like we have now a case rate per 100,000 metric that everybody needs to hit and we can get things back. And it sounds like if you believe the most commonly circulated number of 15.6 per 100,000, that getting to 14 sounds doable, but I know you're revved up. Let me know where's your head at on this.
Well, I don't know where that 15.6 number came from. If that's true, which I can't find that anywhere, but if that's true, then there's the real shock, because then we'd only need about 53 less people per day getting sick, and that's very doable. I think the number is from the San Diego County website. It's much higher than that. It's 22.4. So I know that 15.6 number was spit around because somebody in LA tweeted that out, but I think it's wrong. It's old. I don't know where she got it from, but if that one's right, then it's very doable. If not, we need about 240 less people, which is about a 33% decrease. The numbers are turning down. This is good, but we have like a week to do it. It's a little bit frustrating to me because I would prefer just a yes or no. And I know that's not what kids want to hear. Kids want as much optimism. They want to be able to either do it or not. But I think you're almost better off just telling them, look, we're not at the number we want. So it's just, no, it's not happening. Go find a club to play for or something, or play another sport. It's not happening. This is just dragging along more, except just with a number. And then what happens if we get under 14 and then it goes up again? Then you just cancel the season after a week. Like it doesn't, it's the same problem that the restaurant guys are having where, you can't just open and close the restaurant. You have to order all the inventory and you have to assume you're going to be open for an extended period of time. Especially with football, you can't just start it and stop it because you need to do 10 days of tackling drills. There's a lot of prerequisites that have to go into it. And you can't say, okay, we're not practicing for 5 days and we're playing. You need to be able to just play all the way through. So I don't think that this is a good answer. In my opinion, it's probably the worst answer possible. But that's just me. I again, looking at it more optimistically, hey, we know what the number is. Cases are going down. People are getting vaccinated. We seem to be on the right track. Fantastic. But if March 1st is the drop dead date, we keep hearing, which is also a date that also doesn't make, it's also fluid. Everything's just fluid. I don't like fluidity. I like definite yes or no. We haven't gotten it yet. So I think it was a little bit of a switch and bait here. I think we all get duped a little bit. I think some of the people on Twitter heard football's allowed in purple and red, did not read the fine print, the quite literal fine print that said football is not allowed unless we hit this case rate metric. So everybody's calmed down a little bit. Is it still possible? Yes. Is it likely? In my opinion, probably not, but at least there is still a chance.
So I will say that it seems like the governor and their office trended toward this direction a few weeks ago when they took it off of the strict red tier and everything. And I respect that they're moving everything in the direction of make it accessible via a number that we can start to understand. This is good quantifiable data. I am curious, along with you, Tommy, and this is the nature of doing these shows during the middle of the day when we're still having this information all come out, is what's going to end up happening? Is it going to just be this 14 number sticks for all sports? I don't think that's where we're at. I think we'll see higher numbers allowed for stuff like field hockey and some of the other sports because this announcement made the distinction of talking about sports that were still divvied up into like close contact and moderate contact. And so I think there will be a distinction there that we're going to see a significant uptick in sports, tennis, softball, baseball. Like some of these things are going to start coming back in a lot more significant fashion. But Tommy, I do agree with you that the hype is hard to ignore, but you see it, you look into that fine print, and you're like, oof, we're not there though.
Yeah, I think baseball is on the right track. I don't see any reason why they won't be able to play. Soccer probably has a better shot than football just because of the timing of it. But it is what it is. I think it would be really, really hard in the government's defense, it'd be really hard to segment each sport by a specific number because that's so arbitrary. So you kind of have to lump them all together. So the season 2 sports have a really good shot. Season 1's going to be really, really difficult just because, just the time on the clock is ticking.
I think we'll get some football. What about you, Tommy? Do you think we will get let's go around Tommy first, then Colton. Do you think we're going to get any football games played in this abbreviated year?
Have Colton go first.
Colton.
Oh, okay. If that first number they said is right and we have to go down about 56 per day, if that number is right, then yes. If not, then I'm probably going to agree with Tommy and say probably not.
That's a horrible answer. That's answering both sides. No. You got to go on record with one or the other. Do you think we're going to get football or no?
I'm going to go with no.
Colton, consider this the beginning mark of your education through an internship. That is not a resounding way to make a take. To say both sides of the argument and then just no, it kind of falls flat. Tommy, stick this man with an education on how to make a take. Take a side and rip it.
Here comes the hot take. I think we will. And I don't think we will for the reasons that people think. I think we will because I am a nerd and I look at the San Diego COVID chart every single morning. It's part of a morning routine. The number of tests has gone down. So the rate per 100,000 has nothing to do with the percentage of positive tests. So if we test, which this is trending this way too, if we test a third less on its own, this will absolve itself, if that makes any sense.
In a morbid way, yes.
So then you hit your mark, which is not the right way to do it. But for whatever reason, it seems to me like we're testing less people. There's also a more complex thing with the way that they're testing now versus the way they were testing 3 months ago. So the amount of COVID that you have to have in your system is far less now to test positive. So there's some optimism there. And then you got to hope with the vaccines that there's less possible people can get sick. And the more people get sick, the less people get sick again because getting sick twice is unlikely. So I'll just be optimistic and say yes.
Dang, the first bout of optimism. See there, Colton. Even if it's nefarious reasons, get those nefarious reasons out as part of your takery to stand out from the field. I will say yes with the doubling. I'll split that into. I'll if I got 2 7s, I'm splitting them right now. I'll play 2 hands here on this answer. I'll say one is I think some of the rich, private, small, better funded by parents with their own independent money. Like there will be schools that I think will just come up with the necessary stuff that will get a couple of games in. But I also think that these protocols clear the way for things like Team McCossie and SDFNL and those types of groups to come in with bowl games like they've done in the last couple of years and potentially get some opportunities. Given that those are not restricted by a first or second season, they can make those happen in a lot wider window of time. Tommy.
And I think we definitely have to mention too, and shout out to the government for this. They have said that they will fund the weekly testing that's also required. So that was a concern for some of the public schools. They would be able to afford to do all the testing. That is no longer a concern. So that's a great news too. So that is a huge thing. So make sure we got to throw that out there too.
That is tremendous news. And if you want more of an understanding of just where schools' minds are at for the budget, we had a conversation with John Labetta, the former assistant commissioner, a couple weeks ago. I will retweet that so you can find it at SD Prep Insider on all of our social media. And if something like that comes off the books, that's a huge tick in the right direction, because that's something that I bet if you said to schools, you have to pay for busing and testing and this, or just busing and equipment and no test, like that is not a small slice of the pie. That's a third of the pie chart right there. That's a big, huge line item budget. Definitely exciting stuff. Tommy, are you, as an unvaccinated person, going to go back and coach and play? And are you confident in what your school has done so far to take care of you guys?
I think so. We've had the conditioning practices that are allowed, and it seems safe. I don't feel like I'm in danger. I think if I was an indoor sport, I would feel differently. But outdoors, especially in a field as big as football. I mean, you're way away from everybody. I think baseball I feel like 10 times safer. I don't personally, again, having read a lot of the research and stuff, I don't feel weird about touching a ball that someone else has touched because I'm not concerned about coronavirus spreading through surfaces because it really doesn't. And I think I just think there's a way to play all these outdoor sports safely. I mean, soccer should be fine. You're so spread out. The amount of time you're near somebody. I mean, even still, we do a good job of making sure when people are lying, they're spread apart and everything like that. But even still, I wouldn't even feel that unsafe. You know what I mean? If anything, it's just weird being around people at all after not being around people for so long. Like you kind of forget how to do it. But no, I feel completely safe.
If you, I don't know where you rank medical analysis, but Pro Football Doc is a source locally that I have consumed for some stuff, and I know that he has talked about how successful the NFL season ended up being. That even some of the players like Stephon Gilmore with COVID hugging Patrick Mahomes did not lead to a massive outbreak, and all of the pro results, even though they are in a bubble, can still be taken as a positive direction that high school sports can come back and not lead directly to one game being an outbreak where both teams get sick, yada, yada, yada. Overall, the medical science is proving out that I think we are in a decently optimistic position. And it's weird hearing that all come through the lens of Tommy Morris as him being one of the more pessimistic or realistic people that we've ever had. We will go ahead and just say that for now, follow up with us with more information. I will close out with this, guys. I got a text from Joe Hines, and he said, let me call this up here, definitely excellent news for our kids, coaches, and schools. Just need to work through the updated guidance and finalize our plans for the CIF SDS to move forward ASAP. And I want to give a shout out to Joe, given that in the last couple of days, we've seen the Southern section and LA City section outright cancel season 1 sports. Joe Hines not following suit, not having to backtrack on anything, just remaining open and optimistic to every opportunity throughout this whole process. Wanted to give a big thank you to the section office there. Tommy, anything before we let you get out of here?
I hope it's good for everybody. I'm very, very optimistic for season 2. So if you're a season 2 kid, you should feel like you're in good shape. Season 1, keep your fingers crossed. I don't like how this keeps dragging out because it's really, really brutal for the kids. But we'll see. I think we'll know pretty much by Wednesday if there's a shot of this thing.
I will go ahead and say thank you very much, Tommy, for attending. And we will say we will tease the excellent investigative journalism that Tommy Morris has been doing the last couple of weeks with the Atlanta Institute of Business, and say that is next week's topic, or maybe a special edition over the weekend. We might have to sneak in one extra episode, but Tommy has been...
I'll do a special edition. I thought about calling you and asking if I could do it on Sunday.
Deal. Let's we will tease that for the people. Colton, before they get out of here, what's good, man? How you feeling about the Padres? How you feeling about that Machado investment?
Man, I'm just hoping we get to go to a game this year because I've never seen hype like this in any San Diego franchise.
What's more hype this week? We'll close on this. What's more hype this week? No, you know what? Yeah, we'll close on this. Getting football back or the Tatis signing?
I think the Tatis signing is just changing San Diego sports as a whole, and I think it's the biggest thing. Biggest news, biggest hype right now for sure.
He's the face of baseball, man.
He's the face of baseball. He's the face of America's finest city. You got to respect him, man.